Well, we've been hanging out with Rachel Parker all day while we wait to introduce you to CoastLife's new co-host, which will happen next week. And we've gotten to know Rachel on many different facets of her life because she is a very multifaceted person. And did you know she's also a published author and writer? And so Rachel Parker sitting across from me on the couch now.
Just moving all over here today.
Exactly. But I think this is a really cool and unique thing because I think a lot of people, you know, especially when we're younger, enjoy writing and being creative. And then somewhere along our career paths, that hobby kind of, it dies out, it falls out of fashion, we don't have time for it. And you're an incredibly busy person, and you still make time to write, you know, not just at all, but very beautifully. And you wrote a piece that was recently published in a magazine.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it's funny you say that. I have a friend in like the Rehoboth Beach Writers Guild that always says, "Oh, I just thought that everybody had this like secret wish to be a novelist." And then
Right.
like, oh no, it is like not everybody feels this way. But yeah, I mean, I was just like the kind of kid that would read 2 books a day for fun and write short stories, and it's always been a part of my life. And I've just been trying to take it a bit more seriously lately. And so the piece that I wrote, it actually, it's about my daughter Avery and her first day of school, but I actually was inspired to write it at a different time that was kind of a more sad time in our lives. Some people might not know that our son Ford, when he was born, he had something called oh my gosh, I'm not going to say it right, but it's like craniosynesthesis. But essentially what it was is that the sutures in his skull had fused too soon. And so his skull wasn't growing to allow his brain room to grow. And so he had to get essentially brain surgery when he was very young, 3 months old.
Terrifying.
And so the inspiration for the piece is really just about that feeling of vulnerability when you send your kids out into the world and it's like your heart is outside of your chest and you don't have a way to protect it, you know? And so it was really based out of that vulnerability as a mom of watching my little tiny baby go under anesthesia and surgery and all of that. But I kind of told it through a bit lighter of a story.
Sure.
With my daughter's first day of school.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I'm not a parent, I'm not a mom, but I still found it you know, a very beautiful piece and even still a relatable piece, I think, where people do have, you know, fears about the unknown, factors that you can't control. I read it when you posted it on Facebook and I was like, oh, tearing up. But you write a lot and there's a lot of different pieces and styles that you write. What are maybe some of your favorite things to write about?
Yeah, I have a lot of like random nerdy hobbies, and so like human psychology and writing are probably the 2 that I really like to focus on. And so like this piece, it was published in Pen-Stricken magazine, so it's like flash fiction. I write a lot of that kind of stuff and poetry. I've been working on a novel for like a decade that I'm hoping like this will be the year that I'll publish that. But most consistently, I've been writing on Substack. And so on Substack, I'm at Fragments of Humanity, but you can also get to that from rachelparker.com if you wanted to check it out. And there I'm writing more like essay style stuff every other week. And the inspiration of that is really, I'm always fascinated when you read something like in a book or listen to a lyric of a song and it just hits you right in the gut and you're like, oh, that is exactly how that feels.
Yeah.
I think we all have experiences
Oh,
like
yes.
that, you know, and you're like, you're tearing up and you're like, oh my gosh.
Exactly,
like
they know me.
Yes, exactly. I love that feeling. That's one of the things I love about stories. But I'm also fascinated by how psychology and neuroscience will show really the science behind why that is so true to our experience. And so that's what I'm kind of writing about on Substack, is pulling pieces of really good literature and then explaining the neuroscience and the psychology behind like why that just really hits home for us when we read it.
Yeah, why that, and I think, you know, it's funny because on social media, you know, you'll see people post or make little videos about like one moment that it seems like we all shared simultaneously as children. We're like, we all lived the same childhood. And I think that maybe plays into some of that neuroscience of like, you know, we think we're so different, we think we're so individualized, but at the end of the day, the things that make us tick are all very similar.
Yes, and sometimes those things are the smallest things. Like, remember the cat pencil eraser that we all had when we were in 7th grade? Yeah, you're right. But those like universal experiences,
Yeah, and you mentioned the Rehoboth Beach Writers Guild as well, which I know is a great resource for, you know, people out there who are interested in either, you know, rekindling an old hobby, starting a new hobby, building that writing community. How can people get involved with the Rehoboth Beach Writers Guild?
If you type in Rehoboth Beach Writers Guild on Google, you'll find their website, and they have a ton of classes, which was the way that I first got involved.
Yeah.
So if you're specifically interested in poetry or nonfiction or novel, no matter what genre you're interested in, you'll be able to find something there for sure.
Awesome. And one more time where people can find the piece that was most recently published in this magazine and other works of yours.
Oh yeah, so this one is in Pen-Stricken. It's actually a brand new literary magazine based out of London, so international.
There you go. She went across the pond.
Right? No, but it's great. A lot of cool pieces in here. And then if you go to rachelparker.com, you can jump over to my Substack there.
Perfect. Awesome. Rachel, as always, it's great to get to know you better and better with each passing time you join us here on the CoastLife couch. And of course, one of the many ways that you know Rachel is with the Parker Group. We've got our happy place of the week to introduce you to as well.
Discover coastal luxury at 24153 Heartleaf Road in Frankfurt. This 5-bed, 3.5-bath home in Sweet Bay community offers a massive spread of modern elegance just minutes away from Bethany and Fenwick Island beaches. Highlights include an open floor plan, a chef's gourmet kitchen with quartz countertops, and a spacious primary suite with a walk-in closet. Enjoy a peaceful, wooded backyard and community amenities like a pool. Don't miss your chance to see it. Join our open house on Saturday, January 25th from 1 to 4 p.m. Happy Place of the Week is sponsored by the Parker Group.